Thank you very much. Please be seated. Well, thank you. There's nothing better than being challenged first thing in the morning on a Saturday to know that whatever you thought you knew, you didn't know anything at all. If I thought I knew anything about land before, I just knew that I have no idea about land acquisition in Nigeria. And so please, a big round of applause for Prince for opening our eyes to the fact that there are multiple ways of investing in land. And I sincerely hope that many of you will take on the challenge that he has enumerated today. I want to see everybody here being a major landowner. Pastor Ben whispered to me that some people don't even know that they're carrying land in their handbags, carrying it on their hair, carrying land on their phones. Seriously. So who is going to exchange one bag for a plot of land? Better be wise. One is appreciating, the other one is depreciating. One Brazilian here for a plot of land. But you have one of the most dynamic topics to talk about. Dominion. Dominion is what we're all about. Dominion is why we're here. Dominion is why you are created. Dominion is why you have been given a mandate. There are two types of dominion that you can deal with. There's a spiritual dominion, there's a physical dominion. And so, for Pastor Ben and for Pastor Nat to settle on the tone, on the topic, dominion, for each one of you here, they are setting all of us up for greatness. So please, a round of applause for your pastors. It takes a particular type of person to understand that when you are dealing with dominion, you do not care about what is happening around you. Your eyes are open to a much higher plane, to a much further plane, to an understanding that regardless of the situation around you, that you operate on a higher level. In a day and place like we are today, where everybody's mind is worried about what they are going to eat the next day, there are people who can see further, who understand deeper, who know that regardless of the situation, there is always something new that you can do. And that's why, again, another round of applause for Prince. I said I learned something today. Because for you to be able to break down land to little bits that you can afford, almost like gala, just buying gala on the street, for you to be able to break it down shows that there is a dominion mindset, and there's nothing that you are ever going to do, nowhere that you're ever going to go, nothing that you're ever going to dominate that you will not find the reason in the Bible. If you want to be a great business person, if you want to dominate, if you want to excel in business, then make the book of Proverbs your baseline. So today I'm going to talk about dominion in the marketplace, dominion in business, dominion as an entrepreneur, any way you want to do it. So two types of dominion, spiritual and physical. And I'll be going back and forth between both of them just so you understand that the dominion that we're speaking about must be complete. You must have spiritual dominion and physical dominion for it to be complete. There are many people that have spiritual dominion. They understand, they're born again, they speak in tongues, they come to church, they do all of those things. They understand what it means to have spiritual dominion. They can bind demons, cast out demons, walk into a place, people will fall on the anointing and all of that, but they have no physical dominion. So it's possible to have spiritual dominion and not understand how to apply it physically. The minute you come into this physical realm, they go blind. They do not understand how to translate it. Then there are those who have physical dominion. They have physical dominion, they're wealthy, they control land, they control space, they control all sorts of things and have no spiritual dominion. And so you will find that when it comes to possessing material things, they excel. But internally, their hearts, their lives are just a total mess. They have no peace. They don't understand what spiritual dominion means in the physical space. So you need to have both. Many of us are clear about our spiritual direction. That's why a lot of us are here. We're here because we know that there is a spiritual mandate that has brought us in here. We're sitting in a church. We know it's a dominion program. We know it's for youth, so we're here. But what and how do we map our physical dominion in the business? We're a bit lost in it. We don't know how to do that. And so I'll just touch 5 very quick points. I've been given a very short time, so I'm going to move fast, but I will try to tally a lot of those to physical and practical examples of my life so that you know. So the first place to start is that you must know who God says you are. It's extremely important because there is a way that men would say that you are that tries to determine how we operate physically. Our dominion in business and all of that comes from an understanding that this is what men say you should be. This is how you ought to be. This is how you ought to look. This is how you ought. Just drop all of that. Who does God say you are? Until you begin to understand what God says that you are and how he sees you, then you will never have both the spiritual and the physical dominion. For a long time in my life, I was already making money. I was already doing well physically. We were materially employing people, had cars. People would look at us and say that, oh, these young men, they're doing extremely well. We had set up Sahara. Everything was going okay. But what people did not realize was that inside me, there was a void, a darkness that was missing. I was missing who God said I was, but I was being who everybody thought I ought to be. So when my peers and all of that will see me on the outside, they will be wondering that, oh, you must be doing extremely well. You could travel, you were married, you had a house. All the physical trappings looked right, but spiritually, there was a void. Until you can feel who God says you are going to be missing something. And one day I was standing in front of the mirror and looking at myself. I knew that there was something missing. And that day, God opened my eyes. And I saw myself for who he saw me as. And when I saw what God saw me as, it was a terrible sight. I fell down on my face. I was crying like a baby. And I said to God, I'm sorry. All the running, all the trouble, everything that I've done, I'm sorry. I came back fully to him. And for the first time, I understood what David finally started saying when he said, take not your Holy Spirit away from me. Give me a new heart. Give me a new soul. And I began to understand fully when he said, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Until you understand that, you will not have spiritual dominion. So once I knew that God understood my frame very well, he knew me. He had made me in secret and he had made me for a purpose. He began to change who I saw myself as. So, know yourself spiritually. Once you know yourself spiritually, it's going to help you know yourself physically. And begin to understand that for you to know yourself physically, you must accept the reality that you cannot change. So what are the realities that you cannot change? The first thing that you cannot change is that you are African. You cannot change that you are black. You cannot change that you are Nigerian. You cannot change that you are Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa. You cannot change the village, the town you came from. You must understand it and appreciate it. A young boy came to me, talented musician. His mother, the boy wants to sing. That's all he wants to do. Fought his mother so much that he took the year off school just so that he can pour his talent out. So he came and sat down. I've been talking to him since he was a young boy, speaking life into him every now and then. And so he came to my house and sat down. His mom brought him and said, please speak to my son. So we now started speaking. And I asked him, I said, who are you? Who are you? Because the music that you are going after, the intonation and all of that, you want to be American. You are in Nigeria and you are singing like an American. To the Nigerian crowd that you are singing like an American, they will say, oh, great, you sound foreign. Nobody can tell that you are Nigerian here. But the minute you get up and you go into the US, your music now becomes lost. Why? Because you are not an American. No matter how much you want to fake it, you cannot be it. You will automatically begin to know that while it looks different here, the minute you go into the mainstream there, you have lost your identity. You have lost who you are. And then I began to speak to him and ask him, I said, who are you? Do you really know who you are? Do you know that there's something about you being Nigerian that you should never be ashamed of? Do you know that there are characters about your Nigerianness that anywhere that you go in the world, they must respect you? Do you know that there is no Nigerian that I know that leaves this shore or goes anywhere that the Nigerian in him does not make him excel? I said to him, I said, do you know that where you come from, your history, your ancestry, the root that you are founded on, what causes you to be you is because you should know where you come from. Do you know that the Americans that I see, the black Americans and all of that, they feel disconnected, they feel a loss, they feel that they are not connected, and that is why when you speak to them, they don't know where their root is, they don't know where they come from. And so when you as an African who knows where you come from, go anywhere, you know automatically that you have a base. And because you know where you come from, you always excel. I said, do not mess around with it. Know yourself. Know who God says that you are. Begin to appreciate that, yes, I'm a man or I'm a woman. I am black. There's nothing wrong with it. Nobody is better than me. In who I am and what I am the best. You are unique in who you are. Nobody can copy you. Nobody can better you. Nobody can do better than who God says that you are. Accept yourself. Know yourself and accept yourself. Be proud about it. Do not be ashamed of yourself in any way. You don't need to change from a man to a woman to a man for you to be your better self. You don't need it. Know exactly who you are. Very important. And so physically, I began to know who I was. I'd go to China, for example, and I realized that every time I went to China, I was chasing a massive deal at the time. I'm tall. Everybody that comes out of the plane is like this. And so they will see me from afar. And the Chinese authorities, as soon as I came, this is about 8 years ago, as soon as I come out, the immigration officer will come from far, just come and pull me out of the line straight away. Pull me out, ask for my passport. As soon as I give them my Nigerian passport, they're carrying me into a corner. And then they will keep me and question me. They will look at the passport, look up, down, check it, see whether the visa is right, whether the stamp is correct, waste my time and all of that, then let me go. So I realized that, okay, so the problem is that when they see me from far, automatically they're saying that, okay, is he Nigerian? Is he not Nigerian? Where is he from? He's definitely different. So I said, let me make it easier for them. Guess what I started to do? As soon as I'm traveling, I'll wear my Nigerian Super East Goals. Green, white, green, or I have a Nigerian belt. I'll wear it from far. They will see it. I say, you want to call me aside? Let me let you know that I'm not ashamed of being Nigerian. Never be ashamed of who you are. Never. Hold yourself up. Defend yourself. Defend your country. I am never ashamed of being Nigerian. Because I am the best that Nigeria can have. Don't be ashamed of yourself. And so I stand in the line and then they come and they will see me from afar. And guess what? The minute I started branding myself fully as Nigerian and not hiding myself as Nigerian, they stopped disturbing me. When I go, they know that, okay, this one knows who he is. He's already telling us that he's Nigerian and he's not afraid of identifying. He's not hiding his passport in the pocket. He's holding it out. And then they let you go. They tell you that when you get to the immigration, you should be afraid. Don't tell them that, no, start speaking differently. No, speak with your Nigerian accent. It's beautiful. Be original. Please, be very original. Secondly, know where you come from spiritually. Know where you want dominion. For you to have dominion, you must know where your power comes from. You must know the source of your power. Dominion is about power. Somebody gives you the power. So you must know that you come from a kingdom where God is sovereign, where he is the one that rules. Psalm 139 says that God's eyes saw my substance when they were yet unformed. And not just that, in his book, all my life is written. And he fashioned the days I was going to live here, fashioned it even before I was born. Even before this day, it was already written. Now, why is this important? To a lot of people, they do not realize that when they came here, came into the family that they were born, came into the time that they were born, it was not a mistake. You agreed to it. Let me repeat that. As you came Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, whatever, Ibibi or who, male, female, when you came, formed or deformed, rich or poor, before you made that decision to come here, you and God had a conversation. Let me repeat. Before you were born, into the family you were born, into the life you were born, whether you came as a single parent, whether you came into a single parenthood or you came into multiple, whether you came into polygamous or not, you and God had an agreement. Before then, you sat down and you decided, and he said that this is where you are going and this is the reason and purpose for why you are coming. And this is the family that you will go into, and you chose and said, I want to go into this family, into this time, into this place, into this year, into this age, because I have a purpose that only I can fulfill. You are not a mistake. You were not born a mistake. Your place and life was never a mistake. The Bible tells you, go back to that Psalm. In Psalm 139, and you will see it says everything was written when it was yet unformed. He knew you while you were yet unformed. His eyes saw your substance, this physical thing, before it happened. In a book, everything was written. What is your purpose? What will you do? Why are you coming? Why are you coming at this time, in this age? Why were you born on the day you were born, into the family you were born, into the circumstance you were born? It was written, and you agreed for a reason. Now the whole journey, physical, that's spiritual. So you know why you came. Now you're in the physical realm. You are now here. Your whole purpose is to tally and connect with that purpose for which you came, for that difference that you are here to make, so that you can change and you can begin to impact the lives in the place and family and community that you are born. Don't run away from your responsibility. Connect to your spiritual mandate. Why? Because at the end of all of this, another book is written. The book of life. Everything that you have done in this life is written. And what's going to happen is that the first book, where your whole life was already written, this is what you are meant to do, this is why you are coming, and all of that is going to be opened on one side. And another book is going to be opened, which is the actual journey that you came through here, everything that you did, and they're going to compare. And you're going to see who you ought to have been, what you should have done, everything that you're going to do, and you will see what you then did. And then many people will cry. And then you will wipe your eyes, yes, but you will see that this is what you agreed and this is what you did. That is why in dominion you must have physical and spiritual, and both of them must match. Follow what God has called for you. You have a spiritual dominion, and that dominion is based on an agreement that you signed, an agreement that you agreed to, an agreement that you and God came in partnership, in covenant, saying that this is who I'm going to be. When you come here, you tally it, you tie it together, and you make sure that every single day of your life, you work to ensure that they match. Next, know where you are going to spiritually. There's a spiritual journey. Where are you going to spiritually? You're not here by mistake. Remember, you agreed on something. The Bible tells you that you're a pilgrim. You're just journeying through this land. But there are choices. The day that you left and came here, there are choices you begin to make, which now determines whether you're going back home or you're going elsewhere. And so for us as Christians, for us as born again, for us as spiritual beings, it's easy because we read the Bible and we know that there's a heaven and a hell, and it tells us what that journey is going to be. So we know that that is our destination. So we sit down and we say that, okay, we have a spiritual destination, and nobody wants to go to hell. So everybody, whether they're born again or not, you say, where do you want to end up? They say they want to end up in heaven. No problem. That is the decision. Fine. That is the destination that you have as a vision. But this journey and the choices and the things that we make here in the physical realm, that dominion that we make, is what is going to determine where we are going to end. And so the business of dominion as a physical challenge, as a physical realm, that business that you are doing, that purpose for which you are created, and all of that must be kingdom and purpose driven. It cannot be just doing any business. It's not that, oh, I see Tonye is doing this thing. Let me go and do it because it's making money. You will fail. That's not your calling. That's not your calling. There was a story told me of Oral Roberts. And this story keeps me, every time I hear it, every time I think about it, I have to reorganize and just make sure that every time I'm walking in the way that God has asked me to walk. And what was it? TV evangelist, great preacher, church owner, every single thing, speaking to multitudes and all of that. And then he asked God a question that is a dangerous question, but a question that all of us must ask. He said, Lord, show me my scorecard. Lives were being saved. He was a TV evangelist when TV evangelism was just starting. People knew him all over the world. He was writing books. He was doing things, preaching in church and all of that. He said, God, show me your scorecard. God said, are you sure? He said, show me. I'd like to see how I am doing. After all, I have a scorecard. There's a book being written. When I get back to heaven, you are going to compare what I'm doing here with what I had agreed to do. So God said, okay, and showed him his scorecard. Guess what his scorecard said? His scorecard said 0. He said 0. Oral Roberts was shocked. How come? After all, I'm a TV evangelist. After all, I'm doing this. I think Nathaniel Bassey has that song. At the gates of heaven, Abi. He says, I'm a pillar in my local church. I do this, I do that. I pay my tithes and all. He said, how come? And this is what God said to him. He said, that's not what I sent you to do. He said, that's not what you were created for. He said, Lord, what did you ask me to do? He said, I asked you to come and teach. Teach. Open a university, open a school and teach. And Robert said, I'm sorry, Lord. He shut down his TV evangelism. He opened a university called the Roberts University. And he went back to what God asked him to do. What is your business? Are you in the business that God asked you? Yes. You're employing people. Yes. You're making money. Yes, you're paying your tithes. Yes, you're giving offering. Yes, you're a pillar in your local church. Is that what God asked you to do? Is that business you're doing what you and God agreed to do? Or are you going to get back and that work will be tested by fire? It will be. It will be. And when it's tested by fire, what would happen? It will burn down. And you say, but God, it saved lives. He says, yes, I know. He says, oh, but there were people that came and I helped them. They were hungry, I fed them. He says, yes, I know. All of those things are good. I don't have a problem, but that is not what you were sent to do. Because in the area that you were sent to do, many more will be impacted, many more lives will be saved, many more things will be done. Many people will find themselves in you, through your ministry. They will become who they were created to be because of you. You see yourself as one. God sees you as a multiplier. You see yourself as one. He sees you as an influencer, an accelerator. So yes, you might be employing 5 people in the wrong place. You employ 5 people in the right place. Those 5 people will impact a nation. Am I speaking to somebody here? So you want to dominate in the business. Ask yourself, am I in the right business? God, open my eyes and show me who I am. So that leads me to you knowing why you are here. Why are you here? Why? Why are you on this earth? Why are you in Nigeria? Why are you born into the family that you were born? Why? What is the whole purpose of you leaving heaven? Leaving that kingdom? It was beautiful there. How did you put it? You didn't have to plant mango or banana or something. You didn't have to plant, you eat it. So you are there. The rivers are running, the fruits are there, everything. You are there, you are hearing music, heavenly music, you are enjoying yourself, everything was happening. You didn't have any stress there. And then suddenly there was a need on earth. And God looked and said, who shall I send? I said, send me, I'll go. He said, are you sure? He said, yes. He said, but the person that is going to be born is going to be born without a leg and without an eye. I said, no, it's okay, send me. There's a reason, there's a purpose. That blind man is going to make music that is going to change the world. I want to be that person. He said, that person who has no legs, when they speak, everybody who thought that because they had no legs, that they were nothing. But through him, everybody, whether physically deformed or not, will know they are something. He says, send me. So God says, okay, no problem. I will send you. Go. Why are you here? Then you come. And now when you come, there's something. There's a void in your heart. It's just so that you can search for God. You are born. You are here. But there's a void. You have to find yourself. You have to find your purpose. You have to start asking. But instead, you start complaining. What kind of wicked God is this? Can you imagine? I was born into a family. Poverty is killing me. This God is wicked. Why was I not born like this person that is rich? Why was I not born an American, a British, a Scandinavian? Why am I born black instead of white? And God is wondering that, hello, do you know the power that you have? Do you know who you are? Why are you here? You are here to establish the kingdom of God on earth. You are here to dominate. Genesis 1:28, your mandate is clearly spelled out. It says the whole earth is waiting for the manifestation of the whole earth. The whole earth, no boundaries, the whole earth. Why are you here? You have a mandate, spiritual. So you now ask yourself, why am I here physically? So I now have a mandate. I now have to make a difference. How many lives did I impact today? Have I made a difference? When I wake up in the morning and I step out, am I going to change a life? Am I going to do something different? When I come back at the end of the day and I'm looking at God, am I saying that today I fulfilled my purpose? Today, just today, whatever it is that I set out to do in this journey in life, I did it and I did it well. Would you be able to go to sleep every single day knowing that that day you did your best? You did your best. You did your best. And God multiplied your best. You are here for a reason. You are here for a purpose. Dominate. Genesis 1:28 gives you your mandate. It gives you your purpose. It's a charge. It's a call. Be fruitful. How many lives were you fruitful to? Multiply. Whose life did you multiply? You're here for a purpose. You have a gift. There is no individual, none of you in this room is without a gift and without a talent. None. Nobody. We are each given something unique in us. And all God is asking is save it. It's not for you. It's not for you. Save it. Save it. Save it. Pour it out. There is no gift that is for you. There is no talent that is for you. There is somebody out there waiting to receive what you have. Somebody is waiting to receive what you have. Are you a great footballer? Play. There's somebody who will sit down and just watch the television and just be inspired by your game. Are you a writer? Write. Are you a dancer? Dance. Are you a poet? Please, by all means, write your poetry. It's not for you. Don't keep it. It's not for you. Somebody's life will be impacted. Are you a great business person? Are you somebody that sees problems and can find solutions to problems like land? Please do it. Do it. Do it. It's not for you. In that gift, will you be fed? Yes. In that gift, will provision be made for you? Absolutely. In that gift, will you be able to go places, see people and all of that? Yes. That's fine. God needs you to do that so that you can serve your gift in multiple places. So he will provide that for you. But it is not for you. Save it. Save it. Pour it out. Save it. When you dominate in business, Problems are job creation mechanisms. Every time that there's a problem, there's a job. Every time you see a problem, if God gives you a problem to see, and you can identify it as a problem, immediately this is what you should do. The mere fact that you can see it as a problem means that the solution is in you. Just be sure about that. As soon as there are people who will walk into a place, you see a problem, they can't see a problem. They can't see anything wrong with that situation. But you can see it. And you're sitting down there and it is just disturbing the living daylights out of you because you can see it. Now you have one of two choices. The first choice is to complain. That is what 99% of people do. They see the problem and they complain from somebody, why did they not solve it? Can they not see it? This, that? What kind of useless people are this, that? They complain from morning till night. They miss the opportunity that God just gave them. Then the few others who see it begin to think that, how can I solve this problem? And then almost immediately they think, how can I monetize the solution to this problem? Or, how can I use the solution to this problem to create an influence? Every problem gives you capital. The minute you can solve that problem, you have something to negotiate with. You have something to exchange. Some problems you solve pro bono, but it opens new doors for you down there. But that you don't solve it at all, you have cheated yourself, number one. And you have cheated mankind, number two. So solve the problem. It creates jobs. Finally, I think, all right. So you must know how you will get there. Spiritually, you have a destination. Heaven, hell. You are here. You've already made that choice to come. You're here. There's nothing. You're here. You can't change it. You can't go back. You can't regret it. You can't say, It's too late. You're here. So now that you're here, you now need to know how to get back. You're already here. How do you get back to where you came from? So that when you get back, what do you want to hear? You want to hear, well done. Thou good and faithful. Abi, come into. That's what you want to hear. You want to hear that, you have finished the race, you have done very well. Here, these are your crowns and all of that. How do you do that? It's very simple. A man came to Jesus and asked him. He said, since I was a child, I've done all of these things and all of that. And Jesus said, what's the greatest? And then he asked, what's the greatest commandment? Jesus told him. He said, I've done all of that. But Jesus said, at the end of the day, he said that the greatest commandment of all is what? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your strength, with all your might. And then love your neighbor as yourself. The Bible tells us the first, love God. It's very simple. You want to get back, love God. Love him with all your heart. Just love him. When you love him, you will do whatever he says, because that's the second thing. It says, without holiness, no man can see God. Two very simple commandments that seem too hard. The first aspect is just love. Just love. You want to know how to get back, love God. The second one is holiness. Without holiness, no man can see God. And so break down holiness. What is holiness? It's obedience. Holiness is obedience. Get up. Yes, sir. Sit down. No problem. Come. Go. Don't argue. Just do. Don't argue. Just do. Did God say you should do this? Do it. Just do. So go back to him. Ask him, what is my mandate? He says, it's in Genesis 1:28. He says, okay, no problem. He says, but God, you want me to come back? You like me. He says, it does not take pleasure in the death of anyone, not even the sinners. So you come back and you go back to him. He will show you. He will show you the way. He will reveal it to you. Spiritually, love God with all your heart. You will make it back home. But how do you do it physically? You're here. So how do you dominate physically? How does this business of yours, okay, you found the business. You now know what it is. This is my calling. This is what God has asked me to do. But how do you now dominate? How do you do it? The Bible is very simple. Again, Proverbs will have many, many examples. But I'll pick one that I love so much because I've seen it work over and over and over and over again. And it says, see ye a man diligent in his works, and he will stand before kings and not mere men. You want to dominate, be diligent. I have seen too many people fail woefully because they have not been diligent. Be diligent. Be diligent. Trust God. Next, he says, write your vision. Make it plain. Write it. Just write it. Write it. What's your vision? I ask young people. I said to them, close your eyes and visualize. You're 20, you're 30. No problem. 40 years from now, where will you be? And 40 years. Are you joking? 40 years? Can anybody visualize 40 years? Yes, you better visualize it. What type of Nigeria do you see in 40 years' time? Are you going to be here? Now, to my shock, most people don't see themselves in Nigeria. I don't want to do that poll here. Because if I ask most of you now, how many of you want to be, if you had the opportunity now to get a visa, Canada, America, the American embassy just comes in here now and says that we're here to give 1,000 green cards. How many hands will shoot up? Everybody will come. Everyone will come. But what is the problem with that? Let me tell you the problem. Just so you all understand what the problem is with that is. If you cannot see yourself in a place, you are not going to work to correct it and make that thing happen. You can't. So the minute you don't see yourself and you don't see your future in Nigeria, you can never walk the Nigeria today that will achieve it there. So instead, what your mind is let me just go. You're living day to day. You're not making the sacrifice today for the better Nigeria tomorrow. So most people's minds are not here. They're far away. Write your vision. The minute you begin to write your vision that this is who I see myself as, I want to be the Dangote, whatever. I want to be the greatest business person in this calling of my life. You don't need to leave Nigeria to do that. I want to be president. I want to be governor. I want to be the biggest minister. I want to own the biggest TV channel in the world. I want whatever it is that you see yourself as doing. Write it. Visualize it. And then you begin to see that you don't need to leave these shores to achieve it. Wherever the soles of your feet touch, you possess. No country I go to, once I land in the country, I've stopped doing that. I need to start it again. But when I was doing business, as soon as I land in a country, I take possession of it straight away. Why? Because there was a late pastor of ours called Pastor Escott that used to tell us that take it, walk around it. And one day, and I'll close with this example just so people will know. A lot of people know my tank farm at the airport. Right? If you come down from the airport, you will see a Sahara tank farm there. Okay. So one day, Pastor Esco gave this sermon about marching on land. I can't remember which land he said he went to, and he walked around it and he claimed it with the soles of his feet. So I came down, I was leaving the airport, and I saw this empty plot of land. And I came down and I asked, I said, well, there's a plot of land there that we wanted. They said, oh, it belongs to Shell. It's been there. I said, for how long? They said it's been there for 20 years. They had kept it for Shell to build tanks. So I said, okay, no problem. I went to the land. I started walking around it, claiming it. I said, the Bible says, wherever the soles of my feet touch, I possess it. I walked around it. The security people came. They thought I was chanting something. They came to drive me away. I said, they should just give me a few minutes. And then I entered the car and left. And then I told my office, let's write the application. We'll get the land. We put the application in. They said, this place belongs to Shell. They've kept it. Then somebody who I don't know where just came and said, but Shell has had this thing for 20 years. They haven't developed anything. They said, how long are you going to take to develop it? We said, within 9 months. You will see the thing start now. Within 9 months, it will be ready. They said, why are we keeping it for Shell, who has been waiting for 20 years when somebody can do it within 9 months? Prior to that, there was no private company, none, that was in the aviation business, supplying aviation fuel. It was only the multinationals. All it took was an understanding that wherever the soles of your feet touch, do you want dominion? If you want dominion, walk in it, claim it. The Bible has already given you everything that you need. The world is your playground. The Bible says the earth and the fullness thereof. It didn't say Nigeria and the fullness thereof. It says the earth and the fullness thereof. The earth and the fullness thereof. We went to the Far East. They said Nigerians can never open a business internationally. I said, really? I said, Lord, what's the mandate? He said, go. I want to showcase Nigeria to the world. We went. We opened an office in Singapore. That was 15 years ago. We're still there. We opened an office in Geneva. They said Nigerians are 419. Whenever they come, integrity is a problem and all of that. I said, no problem. Where is the most integrity-conscious place in the world? Geneva. Abi? That's where they hold money, blah, 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 and all of that. We went, we opened an office there. Don't allow anybody to tell you who you are. Let God tell you who you are. God bless you.
Thank you. One more time. Let's just put our hands together. Yes.